2. How we doing, family? It's your boy, Yo, and this is another episode of YoHoops. I go through every NBA game every day. Today's Sunday, March 29th, and we have a 9-game NBA card. I'm going to walk you through my thoughts and let you know what sides I like, so please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite game in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. Recap yesterday, right back in that win column, we went 5-1 on the 6-game card. We were one game away from the sweep, but we needed the Hawks to win it by 15. They got the dominant win, but they only ended up beating the Kings by 10. Exactly the type of day I needed. I'm now 106 and 104 on every game played in March. 3 days left, let's make sure to stack some units and head into April with some positive momentum. In our first matchup of the afternoon, we have the LA Clippers and Milwaukee taking on Milwaukee Bucks. Clippers are minus 1100 on the money line, and the total is 221.5. The Bucks do come into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, but no travel as they remain at home. They got their asses kicked by the Spurs last night, and it looks like now they're waving the white flag. Gary Harris, Bobby Portis, and Kyle Kuzma are all ruled out, and now Ryan Rollins and Miles Turner are both listed as questionable. The Bucks are officially out of the playoff race, so the best outcome tonight is to lose. The Clippers come into it at full strength, sitting in the 8th seed. They have all the motivation to get this one done by margin. I'm taking the Clippers laying the 15 as my first selection of the afternoon. Up next, we have the Miami Heat in Indiana taking on Indiana Pacers. Heat are minus 410 on the money line, and the total is 246. Looking at the IRs, the Heat have Norman Powell ruled out, then the Pacers have their entire lineup listed as questionable once again. Obviously, I'd like to know who's playing, but with this many scorers out, I can't see us getting over a 246 total. We know Miami has a top 10 defense, so with Norm out, they're going to rely on stops and on-ball pressure. The Pacers have been scoring points recently, but at the end of the day, they average 112 points per game on the season. Unless we think Miami's winning this game by 30, we should stay well below this total. I'm taking the Heat and Pacers under 246 as my next selection of the evening. Up next, we have the Boston Celtics in Charlotte taking on Charlotte Hornets. This game's a pick'em. You can find minus 110 on either side, and the total is 215. We saw this same matchup in Boston on March 4th, and the Hornets won that one 118-89. Jason Tatum was out back then, but I can't say the Celtics IR looks any better tonight. Jason Tatum, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and Neemias Queta are all listed as questionable. The Hornets do come into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, so that does even the score a little bit, but they're a younger team and they remain at home, so rest shouldn't play too much of a factor. I can't overlook the fact that the Hornets are the best team in the league against the spread. 45-28 on the season, you're up close to 15 units just betting on Charlotte every night. I know Boston wants to win this game in terms of standings, but if there's a chance Jaylen Brown sits, I have to be on Charlotte. I'm taking the Hornets on the money line as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Orlando Magic in Toronto taking on Toronto Raptors. Raptors are minus 135 on the money line, and the total is 225.5. For me, this is one of the toughest games on the board just because I'm not high on either team. The Magic are still without Franz Wagner, which I hate, but at the same time, the Raptors are without Emmanuel Quickley, and they're already severely lacking in ball handling. Looking deeper, I wanted to be on the under, but rather than taking a side, I'm looking at a prop. I'm taking Paolo Banchero to go over 7.5 rebounds. We should see plenty of missed shots in a slow-paced matchup like this, and really all season, Paolo's hunted the glass. He's averaging 8.4 rebounds, and he's cleared this line in 6 of his last 10. With Franz out, it's easy money considering Wendell Carter averages 7 rebounds, and that's your starting center. I'm gonna lock it in as my next selection of the evening. Up next, we have the Sacramento Kings in Brooklyn taking on Brooklyn Nets. Kings are minus 115 on the money line, and the total is 220.5. This is definitely the most meaningless game on the board. Both teams are out of playoff contention, so the loser really benefits more in terms of the odds for next year's #1 pick. I can see it going either way in terms of a side, so personally, I'm isolating this one to another prop. I'm taking DeMar DeRozan to go over 4.5 assists. In the last week or so, we've seen the Kings running their offense through Debo, and while he's not necessarily hunting to score, we're seeing a lot of drive-in kicks. He's out there getting his young guys involved, and he's cleared this line in 7 of his last 10. Him playing the facilitator role makes sense considering he's an older guy on a tanking team. I'ma lock it in as my next selection of the evening. Up next, we have the Washington Wizards in Portland taking on Portland Trailblazers. Blazers are minus 1,600 on the money line, and the total is 238. We've seen certain teams trying to play spoiler with spreads this big, but the Wizards really are that bad. They basically shelved a majority of their team, and it makes sense considering they're one game ahead of last place. I don't see the Wizards even trying to win this game, and right now, the Blazers need every win they can get. They're currently 9th in the West, one game behind the Clippers for the 8th seed. I see Portland locked in. I'm taking the Blazers laying the 16.5 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Houston Rockets in New Orleans taking on New Orleans Pelicans. Rockets are minus 240 on the money line, and the total is 225.5. We've seen the Pels compete recently, so I'm not shocked to see a spread this short, but they do come into this one with a few potential injuries. DeJounte Murray and Trey Murphy are both listed as questionable. Those are two of your primary scorers, so I'm worried if either guy sits. The Rockets are hanging on to the 6th seed in the West by 3 games, so they really can't afford to drop the winnable ones. I know Houston hasn't looked great, but against the banged up Pels, they should be able to win this one by 6. I'm taking the Rockets laying the 6 as my next selection of the evening. Up next, we have the New York Knicks in Oklahoma City taking on Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder minus 380 on the money line, and the total is 223.5. Maybe I'm biased, but when I look at both of these rosters, I don't see how the Knicks compete. Jalen Brunson is your best scorer as a 6'1" guard up against the reigning MVP. Then past that, I guess you're hoping Karl Anthony Towns or OG Anunoby steps up. The Thunder only won the last matchup by 3 points on March 4th, but they were without a good part of their bench and still found a way to get it done. At full strength in OKC, I say the defending champs roll. I'm taking the Thunder laying the 8.5 as my next selection of the evening. Up next, we have the Golden State Warriors in Denver taking on Denver Nuggets. Nuggets are minus 750 on the money line, and the total is 239. With the Warriors this banged up, I can't see them keeping this game competitive in the Mile High City. I've said it before, but do we really expect Podziemski and Melton to run an NBA offense at the highest level? I should mention, the Nuggets have been playing zero defense recently, so that is my only concern, but rather than taking a side, I'm looking at another prop. I'm taking Nikola Jokic to go over 23.5 rebounds and assists. He's cleared it in 7 of his last 10 games, but what really stands out to me is he usually elevates against the Warriors. The last time they played, Joker went for 20 rebounds and 12 assists, and that was an 11-point Nuggets loss. He's also got a Euro big in Porzingis guarding him, and he usually takes those matchups personally. I'ma lock it in as my last and final selection. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Right back in that win column, let's make sure to finish the month strong. I'm now 106 and 104 on every game played in March. 3 days left, so let's make them count. I appreciate the support so much. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo! And until the next one, I'ma catch y'all. Peace.